With details on a lawsuit and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Recalling the time he was paired with Baron Corbin in WWE, JBL said this to the Huge Pop podcast. "I don't know what happened, and I don't know what the plan was. They never told me. I remember coming into Oklahoma one time, and me cutting a promo on Oklahoma. That's pretty easy being from Texas. I cut promos every day just for fun on Oklahoma. After that, they said, next week. What's next week? Then they started bringing me back. I never really knew if it was a long-term plan or what was planned. It didn't work. If I didn't, blame me. I'm the veteran. Baron is a good, talented guy. Very tough guy. Very smart guy. I like Baron. If it didn't work, blame me. I'm the one that obviously dropped the ball." Mentioning the backstage reaction in WWE to the upcoming Vince McMahon docuseries on Netflix, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that, "I can only say that the director who did it covered with me every single thing that I would expect someone to cover. There were no stones unturned. What the final product is, I know there are people in WWE who are not happy with it. I don't know how fair it is to Vince McMahon, but there were people there unhappy." When it comes to WWE's interest in AEW star Daniel Garcia, as his contract is set to expire next month, Ringside News wrote that despite AEW's efforts to lock Garcia into a new deal, there's been no official word on whether he's re-signed. The wrestling world is abuzz with speculation about what his next move could be. With no contract extension in place, rumors are swirling that WWE is eyeing the young star. Reports suggest that both Triple H and William Regal see Garcia as a future standout, comparing him to technical greats like Roderick Strong and Bryan Danielson. According to Corey Hayes of PWN, WWE is champing at the bit to sign Garcia if he becomes a free agent next month. It's clear that WWE sees him as a major talent with huge potential. Triple H, in particular, reportedly believes Garcia could be the next great technical wrestler in the company, making him a hot commodity as his AEW contract nears its end. Following his brutal match against Hangman Page at All Out, former AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland has been absent from programming. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has noted that Swerve Strickland, we were told, will be back sooner than originally expected. It would make sense for him to be on the October 12th pay-per-view in Tacoma since he's from there, although we don't have that confirmed. I don't know where they go with Strickland versus Page after the Lights Out cage match, but the feud definitely should continue. Mentioning two NXT stars that are being praised backstage, Ringside News wrote that WWE's Performance Center is packed with aspiring talent despite reports of a Las Vegas move. All of those stars are vying for the opportunity to make their mark and impress the higher-ups, especially as NXT goes on the road. With limited spots available, standing out can be a tough challenge, but two female competitors, Kendall Gray and Tyra May Steele, have managed to catch the attention of important figures backstage. According to a recent report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Gray and Steele's recent match on WWE Level Up garnered significant praise from WWE officials. Both athletes bring impressive backgrounds to the table and have shown the potential to make big waves in the company. Gray, who is a multi-time small college wrestling champion, has demonstrated a great deal of promise since joining WWE. Her in-ring abilities and wrestling pedigree have made her a standout future star. Tyra May Steele, on the other hand, boasts a unique accolade as she is reportedly the only female female Olympic gold medalist in wrestling who has transitioned to professional wrestling. Despite not yet making her debut on regular television, Steele has earned glowing reviews for her performances. The match between Gray and Steele on Level Up showcased both competitors' skills and potential, leaving WWE officials excited about their future prospects. WWE's commitment to developing future superstars is evident through initiatives like the Next in Line program, which gives young talent the platform to showcase their abilities. Talking about his brother Jeff's face paint tribute to Bray Wyatt in TNA, Matt Hardy noted on his Extreme Life podcast, yes, it was 100% inspired from the Fiend mask. Jeff said, hey, do you think this would be cool if I did it, you know, kind of as a tribute? I said, yeah, man, it would be awesome. I think it would be great. It would be very cool for your face paint. He's done some stuff that was very skeleton, like as we approach Halloween season and whatnot. He said, I want to try and pull this off. And it was absolutely identical. It was very cool that Jeff was able to pay his respects and honor the Fiend on TNA Impact. On that same podcast, Matt Hardy said this about his brother Jeff bringing back his Willow character to TNA. Willow is something that I think we will see sooner rather than later in TNA because we have had some discussions about that. That's something that Jeff is very passionate about. Much like his music, he's very passionate about his creation of Willow the Wisp. That's something that he really wished he could have done with Bray Wyatt, especially the Fiend. During his match on Smackdown against Andrade, US champion LA Knight had trouble getting to the top rope as he seemed to address this in a backstage interview. Let me talk to you. I'll tell you what my assessment is. You talk about Andrade, you talk about a guy who is double tough. I can't deny that. Here's the thing. Look, this is such a game out there. You can say it's a game of inches, you can say it's a game of chances, you can damn sure say you're playing roulette out there. Things almost don't go my way. It was this close. I mean, you're talking the short and curlies here. The deal is, look, if I don't catch you with the one, you bet I'll catch you with the other. And that's exactly what happened. One BFT for your trouble. So any night, any man can come out on top, but believe this, every single night, it's gonna be LA Knight. Now, look, I think little chirping, Mello was running around saying it would be a different outcome if he was in the match. Huh? Brother, we've already been there. The story's already been told. You lose, you blew it. Every time, nothing changes there. So I'll tell you what, you guys have a little fun. I'm gonna go on moving on like I always do. Hit it and quit it because nobody, and I'm telling you nobody, can take this thing off of me. Why? Because I pledge allegiance to the champ of the United States of America. Yeah. On X, a fan would say this regarding MJF previously claiming there was a bidding war for his services in 2024 between WWE and AEW, writing, I like how the bidding war of 2024 was everyone but MJF. MJF deleted his initial response and then wrote, it's almost like MJF quietly signed a multi-million-dollar contract and AEW won or something. Wild stuff. Also, sorry, original post got deleted. Think my finger slipped in between takes for the movie I'm shooting. Blow me. He then replied, also, happy birthday, Ethan Page. Back to work. Opening up on the travel schedule in WWE, one half of the women's tag team champions, Jade Cargill, said this to the Masked Man show. I consistently have been working since Mania. The travel is brutal. It's very, very brutal. This isn't even half of what they used to do for travel, and the fact that we travel internationally, and then we have to turn around and people have to go to Raw, and just their clocks have to just be on point to whatever time change they're in in right now. I think that's crazy. You have to go out there, you have to perform, you have to be 100% in front of all of these people, regardless if you're jet lagged. That is very much different for me because I was so used to working 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week, traveling in same day and leaving the next morning as early as I can. Going over the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes segment from Smackdown last night, No DQ wrote that, as seen during the September 21st, 2024 edition of WWE Smackdown, Roman Reigns had a face-off with WWE Champion Cody Rhodes at the Georgia Tech football field. Mike Johnson of PWInsider.com reported that the scene was shot earlier in the week at Georgia Tech's Bobby Dodd Stadium. Cody ended up appearing in the arena for the final segment of Smackdown. Johnson also noted the following: Jeremy Borash, who holds the title of Senior Director of Content and Development in WWE NXT, was on hand producing the segment. We are told that Borash has very much become Paul Levesque's doyen for on-location segments like this. PWInsider.com is also told that WWE's Director of Character Development, Rob Fee, was also on the scene for the segment, as he and Borash have been collaborating on projects and segments like this of late. It was also confirmed with multiple sources that Paul Heyman was intricately involved in the segment and personally directed Reigns and Cody. Addressing rumors that he had problems with CM Punk in the past, Booker T noted on his Hall of Fame podcast, "I don't know if you guys noticed, on Tuesday night NXT, I ran into CM Punk. We had words. The thing is, it was refreshing. I know people were tripping when they saw me and CM Punk. CM Punk and I, we really never had any beef. We really never did. People really thought that when he was in AEW. I don't think CM Punk and I really ever had any beef. Did I say some things about CM Punk, specifically when he was in the UFC? Yeah, I did. I don't think I said anything derogatory or mean-spirited towards CM Punk at all. We too old to be thinking about beef." Defending the decision to book Will Ospreay in a match against Ricochet for the October 2nd episode of Dynamite, AEW President Tony Khan told Busted Open Radio, "That's why I think it makes perfect sense with these big stages. We have the greatest roster ever. There is an unlimited supply of huge matches. These are matches that have been building since the people arrived at AEW. All In and All Out stand as two of our greatest pay-per-views. And I'm very excited going into Wrestle Dream about what's happening in AEW. The future of the AEW World Championship is yet to be determined, but at Grand Slam, the future of AEW is at stake and so much is on the line." In an update on reports of Smackdown becoming a 3-hour show next year, No DQ wrote that it was reported on Thursday that WWE Smackdown was potentially going to become a 3-hour show starting in January of 2025. In an update, Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com noted that those at WWE only have said that the runtime of both Raw and Smackdown starting in January are both open to discussions and nothing is final. On the Backstage Pass Patreon page, WrestleVotes Radio also stated the following: "Something else we wanted to touch on quickly when we mentioned that SmackDown will be moving to 3 hours. As of right now, the chatter internally is that is only for 6 months. 3 hours is going to start in January when Raw moves to 3 hours. The plan right now is that 6 months down the road, SmackDown then goes back to 2 hours. Giving a status update on a star outside of WWE, Ringside News wrote that Zilla Fatu, son of the late WWE star Umaga, will no longer be a part of GCW for the foreseeable future. Just ahead of their Aura event in Philadelphia on Friday, GCW announced that Fatu would not be wrestling in a scheduled match against Matt Tremont, and the promotion will not be using him going forward. In their official statement, GCW shared Zilla Fatu will will not be appearing on tonight's GCW event in Philadelphia or any GCW shows for the foreseeable future. We tried our best to avoid this situation, but we have reached an impasse. We wish him the best. Matt Tremont will now face Slade tonight at GCW Aura in Philly. This marks an abrupt end to Fatu's run with GCW, where he had wrestled his last match at the G-Code event on September 15th, securing a win over Gringo Loco. Fatu first made his debut for the promotion in January, teaming with his cousin Jacob Fatu, now in WWE, in a tag match against Jay Lyon and Midas Black. Though Zilla Fatu's journey in GCW has come to an unexpected halt, his wrestling career is far from over. He initially started his wrestling journey in 2023 for Reality of Wrestling, where he recently returned after a brief hiatus. In March, he made his comeback and has since won the ROW title. Revealing why WWE decided to move to a smaller venue for the NXT show on October 8th, it was said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the second of the two NXT tapings for CW on October 8th, which was scheduled for the major arena in the market, the Enterprise Center, was moved to a smaller building in nearby Chesterfield, Missouri due to disappointing ticket sales. They had 2,196 tickets out in a building which would hold 14,000. The advance was smaller to what most of the recent AEW shows were doing, and to an extent, it made more sense financially for WWE not to move, given running the building was cost savings because they were running Raw in the same building the night before. They had pushed it as the second taping on CW, and with Orton from St. Louis as the guest star. The new building, the factory at the district, could hold about 2,300 for the taping, but right now is only set up for 1,715, and tickets now out are 1,129. It should end up packed. WWE is offering refunds due to the location change and is putting tickets on sale for the remaining seats this week. It shows a very different philosophy, as WWE didn't want to run in a building that would be heavily tarped off, while AEW has never moved one of its weak selling events in major NBA arenas to a smaller venue. For example, AEW Dynamite a week later in San Jose booked the major arena, the SAP Center, and the advance was slightly lower than NXT had in St. Louis, and there are 3 other buildings in the city, 2 of which would fit 3,000 and 4,000, so they in theory could pack or come close to packing it, but instead it will run a big arena that will be heavily tarped. Plus, the smaller building will make for a better television atmosphere. For details on a lawsuit against WWE, Vince, Linda, and Stephanie McMahon, Ringside News wrote that WWE has faced some strange lawsuits over the years, and a recent one filed on September 16, 2024 by Leland Owens stands out. Owens filed a lawsuit against WWE, Vince, Linda, and Stephanie McMahon, making odd claims such as WWE owing him unpaid wages, and that Linda McMahon used her role as a senator, despite never being one, to hide a $100,000 offer made to him. According to PW Insider, Owens also accused Vince and Stephanie McMahon of pretending to be an agent to steal his ideas, though he didn't say what those ideas were. He also claimed that after sharing information on a criminal case, he told authorities he was a WWE fan and connected with ex-WWE superstars Mercedes Moné and Daniel Bryan. However, he didn't provide much evidence for these claims. Earlier on September 3rd, 2024, Owens had filed another lawsuit saying he made a verbal agreement with WWE in Washington state but wasn't paid for his ideas. He alleged that WWE sent Daniel Bryan and Sasha Banks to give him hush money after Stephanie McMahon made a comment about his daughter. Owens also claimed to have shared his ideas with Triple H and Bryan through Instagram. Owens' ideas included something called PIE, an event named Stomping Grounds and a special cage match. However, WWE has not responded to these claims, and many parts of the lawsuit seem hard to believe, especially since Sasha Banks and Daniel Bryan no longer work for WWE. It is unlikely the lawsuit will proceed, as the basis of the lawsuit simply holds no merit. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.